Derek Wilson here with Matt Lindle coming off of the GNCC in Snoeshoe, West Virginia. Matt, that looked wicked. I was watching it on the TV, and I don't know if I've ever seen anything so rough and so wet and slippery. Was that the case this weekend?
Yeah, it was definitely different. It was lots of elevation changes, a severe amount of rain. The towns down below had extreme flooding, buildings completely underwater, and it was terrible. Roads washed out. There's only one way into the place because all the other roads got taken out by all the water runoff.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of that going around on social media. It was good to see everybody made it in. And the first few pictures I saw on social media, and I had actually gotten from Adam Weckel, who went with you, who we'll talk about that too. That's really cool. What an absolutely beautiful place from what I saw. Yeah,
it was. It's definitely an experience like no other. The whole atmosphere of it's great, but it's a ski resort, so people that have been there, they know what they're like, and it's just crazy to be able to say you start a cross country race in a ski resort, and it is a beautiful place from top to bottom. We rode the ski lift all around on Friday. We got there early enough, and it's just different. It was so different, pitting on pavement, pro rows right on pavement. We were right there next to them. It was cool.
Did you say you rode the chairlift around?
Yeah, they have your entry fee is $5 extra over any other GNCC, and that includes they have the ski lift running, so you can go up and down the mountain and look around, and they have a bar and grill at the bottom of the mountain, a pond, and all kinds of stuff in the pond. You can swim and kayak and do all.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's an experience. We're already planning for next year that probably going to go out a day early, I think, and so we can experience a little more of it.
Make sure you keep me on the loop on that one. I don't think I want to miss out on that next year. That was awesome. So the place was beautiful. The setting coming in was really wet at the bottom of the mountain. Looked like a catastrophe. You get to the top, it's absolutely beautiful. You guys spent some time hanging out, riding the chairlift. And then came the big show, right?
Yep.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, we got there Friday, and it was actually the mountain was in surprisingly good shape. Most of the water obviously ran to the bottom to those towns and stuff, but there were still spots in the woods that were definitely nasty. Had a good time on Friday, and then got up Saturday and watched the morning and everything get going, and then got myself all ready and decided to put my big tires on, my monster truck tires, we all have started calling them. They're 2 inches taller rear tires and 2 inches taller front tires is what I run. And it was a risky move. I talked to some of the pros, and none of them were doing it. And I think only me and one other XC2 guy did. So pretty much nobody did, but in the end, I think it helped with some of the bigger rock sections, but it was a rocky base, so it wasn't a bottomless mud, and so they weren't 100% necessary. But in the end, I think it saved a little damage on my machine, and I was okay having them.
Do you think there's any downside to running those tires?
Yeah, the downside is it takes a little more power to turn them. And it's not like my motor's a factory motor or anything like that. It's not up there with the McGill and Fowler and all those guys' horsepower. So it does take a little more power to turn the big tires, and then they roll more in the corners. So the high-speed corners was noticeable. But other than the high-speed corners, I didn't really notice them. They didn't cause me any issues whatsoever. In the high-speed stuff, like I said, I could tell a little bit, but they didn't hinder me bad. So it was kind of happy I put them on because it made some of the other sections a lot easier and a lot less damage because the rock garden's there. I mean, it's unbelievable. It was like nothing I ever thought that I would ever race. I mean, you're just going over hundreds and thousands of rocks that are, some of them can be small and size of your fist, and then other ones are the size of a chair and couch. I mean, they're just absolute
That's crazy
rocks, and it's nonstop everywhere. And then even where there's not that many rocks, it's still rough and it's really tore up, and it was really wet, so it got even more tore up. And I loved it. I mean, the more brutal the tracks get, the more I seem to like them, and it was brutal.
Well, get us in the action, maybe a whole shot on pavement, which is, I don't know of any other race that happens. So you're sitting there. How many guys were on your line on the start? And get us into the woods.
Yeah, I was sitting 19th in points overall, so 6th in my class. So I was in the 4th row, and there was 5 in each row ahead of me and 5 in my row. And so I was mixed in with XC2, and then there was 2 college A kids in my row, and then everybody in front of me was either XC2 or XC1, and there was a couple of XC1 guys behind me, the rest of the XC2 class in rows behind me. So I had a pretty decent start on the track. They do it a little different there, where it's a live engine start. It's the only GNCC that's that way. The only cross-country race that I know that's live engine, and that's because with the small rows, they have to keep moving them forward, so they just let everybody keep their quads running.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fast-paced. There's only about 10 seconds in between each row, so it's just flag waves. They let them get around the corner, the next flag wave, so they're just clicking them off really fast. So it was
like a shotgun start, huh?
Yeah, it was definitely different with the pavement, and I was clear on the outside, which it worked out all right. I got out of the hole decent and was able to get second out of my row, so I pulled in behind Kevin Yoho, and we got headed into the woods, and just tried to get a feel for the track. All these are new to me, so I just didn't know what to expect exactly, and I knew he was a fast rider, so I wanted to just stay with him best I could, and we immediately caught up to most of the people in the row in front of us. That's got to feel good. Get right up on them. Yep, we caught up to them pretty quick, and there was really from there on to about the midway point of the race, probably a little over the midway point, there was just a big group of us, all together, XC1 and XC2 guys. I would say 5 of us, sometimes 6 of us, all in this group, and we were trading places and back and forth and just having some good racing going on. And then I pitted and got a little bit back from those guys, and ended up having just a couple little mistakes on my own part, nothing too major. But then I had my seat, apparently I zip tied on, but it apparently broke that. So my seat popped off and fell down and bounced off into a ravine, and I had to go grab it and get it back on. So then I fell pretty far behind, and it kept popping off the whole rest of the race. That really set me back quite a bit and hurt my overall finish. But I feel like I could have done quite a bit better. I think I could have done at least 3 positions, maybe even 4 positions better in the overall than what I was. If I wouldn't have had the issues with my seat, because I felt really good the last lap. I really got into my groove and started running really consistent and smooth. Now, Variom newcomer Sheldon Phipps and myself, we're bouncing messages back and forth on the Variom messenger board, and I was kind of watching more of the live scoring, and he was watching more of the live race. However, I did flip over to the live race,
And throughout it, I think I caught them mention your name, Matthew Lindle, and I believe you were in about 14, if I'm right, overall. So him and I were talking back and forth, and he thought you were in that pack of 5 or 6, and so we were able to combine each other's what we had for information to kind of figure out where you were. And he was really good. Everybody looked brown and muddy, as you know, but he was able to pick you out on the TV, so that was pretty neat. So we're a little bit past the halfway point, and your seat pops off. How annoying! How annoying! But we'll take that as a learning experience, right?
Yep. Yeah, I know what I'm going to do to fix it, and so there's no way it's going to pop off. I'm not going to rely on the zip tie anymore. I'm going to fix it the way I probably should have years ago.
What is the most memorable? And we haven't gotten to the finish yet. But what was the most memorable part of that track that every time you went there, it was either like, oh, man, I got to do this again, or something that was like, this is it. This is where I gain?
Honestly, almost the whole track for me was just, I really did like it. I mean, a lot of people don't. Like racers that I've talked to, they don't necessarily hate it, but they kind of dread it a little bit, and it is hard on your machine. Don't get me wrong. I've got a lot of work to do over summer break on my race quad. It's tough on the quad, but I just had a blast track. It was fast, so it wasn't real tight technical, but with the roughness of it and how tore up it got and all the rocks and everything, it was really technical, and you had to pick your lines and be quick about your decisions on it because it was pretty fast and just rough. I mean, I just loved it. Some of those rock gardens, every time I'd get to them and hit them, if you'd slow down and think about it, you'd be like, there's no way I'm going to make it through here, but you just keep your momentum up and just keep rolling and smooth through them, and you just get right through them. I mean, it was crazy. And then you get to Howard's hole is unbelievable. I'm sure you guys saw it watching on the live.
I sure did.
They cut a little bit of it out because it was just so bad from so much rain, but it's probably a good 8 to a quarter mile long mud hole normally, and we ran about 3/4 of it, and it's unbelievable. When we went down there and walked it on Friday, checked it out, you're looking at it not knowing how a 2-wheel drive 4-wheeler could ever even about making it through. But with all the fans down there, they said they estimate that there's usually 1,500 to 2,000 fans there in the mud hole alone, and they're not lying. I mean, there's no way you're getting stuck, and if you're stuck, you're only stuck for about 2 seconds because then there's 5 guys grabbing your 4-wheeler and dragging it out of the mud hole. I mean, there's people everywhere. You don't even have to worry about picking the fast line because you just follow the people. They're just got a road basically for you.
Watching Racer TV, they made a great point, and something that I'd never considered, that they were saying, all these spectators down in the hole here, the spectators aren't going to stand in the middle of the water or the mud where it's deep. The spectators are going to find the driest possible spot to stand. So what that leaves for the racer coming through those holes is those worst possible spots. I thought that was a really good point, and if anybody else was watching TV, I hope they heard that too. And it goes along with any time that, you've got to race through a creek. The spectators aren't going to stand in the deep part of the creek. They're just not. That's not human nature. They're going to stand in where it's not very deep and where it's comfortable. So again, all that leaves for the racer is the worst possible spot. I mean, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that's true. And there's some of them though that don't care. I mean, when I was there's some of those guys that are belly button deep in mud and water and stuff, and they didn't give a crap. They were just in there to have a blast, and I don't know, different kind of person there. They just those are the true mud fleas. It was. I mean, the whole track though was just cool. That mud hole really wasn't anywhere near the hardest part of the track either, like I thought it would be. Because there's just so many people there pointing out what line to take and what's going to work best for you. And so it wasn't too bad going through the mud hole. There were some other sections out there where nobody was around, and it got so slick. Just like I believe Racer TV had the video of the underneath the power lines going up the mountain. That was just unbelievably slick, and you're trying to climb literally a mountain, so it's steep as could be, and it's all rock. So it's with the rain and all the water coming out of the hillside, it was just so slick. It was so hard to find traction, and with all the rain that we got there on the prior days, the water was just seeping out of the hillside there. So pretty much, I would say 75% of the track you were in water, at least an inch of water. I mean, there was just water splashing, and the ruts were constantly filling back up with water because there was just so much of it seeping out of the hillsides and running off still and everything like that. But
before you take us to the finish of the race, I wanted to explain to some people, because we are certainly spread out through all kinds of racing and drag racing and dirt track racing, as well as some monster trucks with the Miranda Kozat. But for those that don't know, mud fleas is a term used for the people that stand on the racetrack, next to the racetrack, sometimes in the middle of the racetrack, that point out the lines. Now, mud fleas, you would assume, would be very helpful. However, sometimes they want to see the racer go in the worst possible line. So you really have to make good judgment of, are they really telling you the truth or not? And it's not like you have 5 minutes to think about this. You've got about 4 seconds to decide. I just wanted to explain that a little bit, Matt. I think we've all experienced that at some point in time. So you're saying that, at the bottom, these mud fleas were pretty helpful in West Virginia.
Yeah, as a rule, I've had pretty good luck with all of them, and guys and girls pointing out lines in the woods, in the GNCCs and stuff. That's, as a rule, have really good luck with it, and I think most of the fans are true fans that want to see you do the best you can and not put you in a bad situation. There are some, like you said, I think the other fans kind of help weed those people out if they're pointing in the wrong direction. I think they get them chased out of there, really. I mean,
that's great.
It's pretty rare, especially in a big fan area. It's really rare. Maybe if there's just a random person out in the woods somewhere by themselves, or in like a group of 2 people or 3 people, they might be lying to you, so you don't always want to trust them. But usually the big groups like that, they're there for the show and wanting to help the racer out as much as anything. And I
really don't know of any other kind of racing where spectators can kind of dictate where the racer goes. I mean, obviously you can't stand on the track on the dirt track. You're not going to stand on the drag strip. Drag racers pretty much know where they're going. If they get off course, that's a problem. Nobody's going to stand out in front of a monster truck, that's for sure. But it's the only kind of racing where, the spectator really can dictate.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. As far as I know, it is about the only one where the fans truly are right there. I mean, they can be wherever. They can stand there. They help, like you said. When you get, especially for somebody like McGill, who has his mafia that he calls all his fans, and they call themselves the McGill Mafia. It's when you're not a factory team like Yamaha and those guys that have tons of designated helpers that are all part of the team, you've got to just rely on the fans to be honest about it and point you in the right lines, because like you said, us as racers, we don't have time to slow down to try and see, well, what line's going to work the best, or try and just take a random guess and end up hurting ourselves in the end. So we rely a lot on those fans, and it's cool. I mean, the fans are a huge part of cross-country racing, especially in GNCC, and especially at tracks that get really brutal like that. They're can be a huge help.
That's awesome. So, take us to the finish, Matt. Take us as close as you want to that checkered flag.
Yeah, I got behind a little bit there. Just put my head down and ran the best I could the last lap. Like I said, fighting my seat a little bit. It came off. In the end, it ended up coming off on me at least five times. I don't know, 6. It was a lot. came loose. Lost it once and had to get it, but so I just tried to put in the best lap I could on the last. Felt really good. I was just having a blast at it, and ended up being able to keep myself in the 5th position and 16th overall, which I'm definitely happy at. Happy there. It's nothing to be too upset about, especially my first season, and learning a lot and everything. But I'm really looking forward to the race next year. There's a few of these GNC tracks that I've already got marked on the calendar. They're ones I'm really looking forward to. One of them.
Was this a relief? I mean, did you want to continue to, because it sounded like you were having fun, and, and we talk about that, Matt, we talk about it in Variom, and having fun is always the highest of priority. If we're not having fun, then we're not doing something right, but it sounded like you were having a good time.
Oh, I was having a freaking blast. I mean, I was. They could have kept going. I mean, I was tired. I mean, not dead tired, but I was pretty tired, so it didn't need to keep going, but my seat, if I wouldn't have had to fight my seat, I would have loved to do another lap. I would have gladly went out and done another lap. I mean, it was a blast. And the track just kept getting worse, and I was perfectly fine with it. It was just a blast. I mean, when you're just running on nothing but rocks, it's just a whole different experience I'm just a kid from Iowa that's used to our black dirt, loamy, sandy soil here that we've got, and I mean, closest thing we got to a rock is a tree root. I mean, we don't run into rocks around here, and it was cool to be just flying and railing corners that you just wouldn't think you could do that on jagged rocks everywhere. And
now, Matt, talking about rocks,
cool.
I'm going to have to remind you. You know where I'm going with this?
Uh-huh.
So, Springville, Iowa, spring of 2016, I, Derek Wilson, challenged Matt Lindle to probably one of the dumbest hills there is in Iowa. I just want to let everybody know that I made it, Matt didn't, and I'll leave it at that. Well, I made it.
You almost made it.
Let's say I made it further.
Yeah, you made it further, but you also crashed a lot harder.
I certainly did, but I'm fine. And, hey, something really cool that happened this weekend for the Variom Racing family, for the Weckel family. Man, it's super heartfelt for myself because I just can't get over how really, really, really cool that is. You had Adam Weckel with you, and I don't think Adam minds. Adam is a 15-year-old kid from Bettendorf, Iowa. If you ever want to consider overcoming adversity, Adam has an absolutely amazing story. Adam races quads, got himself a 450 he's getting himself used to at a high level. Adam's a cancer survivor who lost his arm at 18 months old, and he's out there racing quads, and it is one of the most incredible things and stories. And Adam himself is one of the most amazing people I've ever met, and it goes along with his family as well. Now, you had him with you this weekend. You traveled with him side by side all the way to West Virginia, right?
Yep. Yeah, we Jamie asked me, his father asked me if there was a way that he could tag along to one of them, and in particular he was kind of wanting Snoeshoe if there was room, and I told him I would see, and we had room in the vehicle, so I told him we'd gladly take him along, so we did. He tagged along with us. He wasn't just there for the race. I mean, he was there to help too. He helped me when I changed my tires, put my mud setup on. He helped me in the pits and everything. I mean, he was a big help as much as he was there just to enjoy the race too.
That's just it's a heartwarming experience, and I wasn't even there, but that's how I feel about it. He truly is one of the greatest people I've ever met, and anybody that knows Adam Weckel, I think a lot of the Iowa ATV series people know Adam and Jamie, and Jamie has been with Variom as well as Adam from the very beginning. These are people that are absolutely priceless in what we do, what we want to call an organization or a team. And Matt, thank you so much for opening that opportunity up to him. I'm jealous because that's cool. I mean, I'm very grateful that I get to talk to you and call you a friend. I saw some pictures. You guys were out and about on the town a little bit.
Yeah, it was a good time. I was glad to have him along too. I mean, he's, like you said, he's a great kid. He's definitely a good kid, definitely fun to have around. His parents have done a good job raising him thus far. I mean, he loves it. I mean, he loves the racing, and it really shows. And I think that was great to have him along. You could just tell. I mean, he's more of a race fan than I am. I mean, he's anybody that knows him knows. I mean, in general, motocross, cross country, four-wheeler, dirt bike, he's just all the way from the peewees on up to the adults. He's a huge fan of 99% of the racers out there on the track. I mean, he just loves the sport. But yeah, we got to stay right there in the, I guess you would call it the square. I mean, right there in the heart of everything. We were in the hotel there, so it was cool. They had DJ. We ate right there in what would be, I guess, considered kind of like downtown area. Like any ski resort, they're just kind of a little miniature town, and we were right there in the heart of it. And so it was a neat experience all around, and definitely one that I'm looking forward to next year.
A message that Adam has sent to Variom while you guys were up there, I thought was pretty cool. And I bet Adam was super thrilled that you guys had Walker Fowler four doors down or so. Got to catch up with him and chat a little bit.
Yeah, we were in room 301, and Fowler was in room 303. So an odd coincidence right there, right next to us. And yeah, we got to talk to him in the hallway and everything. Then went and talked to some of the pros and stuff. It was cool. I think I enjoy the experience every race I'm at, but I think you really enjoyed it being up there on the front line with all the pros and me getting ready to start the race and stuff. He seemed to be having a good time, so that was cool.
And I imagine Adam had the GoPros and the cameras. I mean, this kid carried a backpack full of video equipment. And, Adam's no professional at what he's doing with these videos, but for instance, this interview that we're doing with Matt, as soon as I get done with Matt, I will send it to Team Variom for them to get first hear on it. I'll send it to Matt so he can hear it. But then it goes to Adam Weckel, and Adam Weckel puts it to the computer and does his editing, and then he makes these videos. If you guys follow Variom, please watch his videos. Every single video this kid puts out, it gets better and better and better. So Adam's multifaceted in the industry of racing. That one, he's out there racing. Two, his passion is second to none. Three, he is the ultimate race fan. And then four, he's doing the audio stuff. And then we started doing audio stuff, but now he's putting visual photos to audio. Matt, he's doing a good job.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. I think if he doesn't decide to keep racing in the future, he's going to have a future with video editing or making videos for racers and filming of some sort, because he's only 15 years old and his videos are way better than anything I could imagine to do. So
I just want to say, I know Adam listens obviously because he's going to edit it, but thank you, Adam. I sincerely appreciate it. And not only does that go for us here at Variom, that goes for everybody out here racing quads that are watching the videos, and the parents to get to see their kids, because Adam takes the time to do the video of the youth races. Man, thank you, Adam, from the bottom of my heart, and everybody out there, and keep up the good work. Matt, that goes along with yourself. Man, every time we get to catch up and I get to hear these stories, I really feel like I'm riding along with you, and I hope that the people that get to listen to this feel the same way. And, the stories you're telling are great, but your accomplishments are phenomenal. And it's good to hear coming off the Snoeshoe GNCC in West Virginia, which was a nasty, nasty, brutal track. You came off there with a smile on your face. A lot like myself a little bit. I grew up some three-wheelers and whatnot, and when it rained, we went riding. And you probably did a little bit of that yourself, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think that's kind of what suits us as adults racing, to like it when, you know, a lot of people are saying, oh man, this is going to be terrible or wet, and we're thinking, man, I'm right at home. Did you feel that before the race?
I actually did. I talked to all the guys that we were there with, and then talked to my dad on the phone since he couldn't make it. I was excited. I was up for the challenge. I was walking the track on Friday and seeing how bad it was, wet and rocky and everything. I knew it was going to be a challenge come Saturday afternoon. It definitely was a challenge, and I was up for it and ready. I was excited to get the race started, and once it got started and I got done with the first lap and saw I was happy. I mean, like I said, race could have kept going for me. I was having a blast.
Thanks again, Matt. You know, you're an absolutely incredible representative of Variom. Besides outside of Variom, just this industry and this sport as a whole. Variom, we are wrapping up our sponsorship packets, so we can send out information to who we are, why we're here, how we started, and what our objectives and goals are. So keep doing what you're doing, Matt. We'll continue to keep in touch, and just damn good job this week, man. I can't wait. It's almost like I can't wait till next year, but we still got half of this one to go. So do you feel that, dude? I mean, I can't wait till 17, but you know, you're still knocking them down in 16.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm pumped for next year already, just for the simple fact that I'm learning a lot. I'm gaining a lot of knowledge and moving forward. We're working on a lot of setup stuff. Me and Shockworx, Bart Thomas are, and it's improving along the way, and that's all I can ask for is and the machine improvement and myself improving this year, because that's just going to make me hopefully more of a threat next year.
All right, as always, we're gonna lay down these people that deserve some credit. I'm gonna get it started, Matt. Thank you to Tri-State Truck and Equipment, Dubuque, Iowa, Jason Hooks, huge help supporter of Variom, father of Cooper Hooks, who also runs for Variom in the 7cc production in the Iowa Series, coming on board and making a relationship. Casey's General Stores, a very strong build company here in the Midwest. If you haven't been to Casey's, by all means, stop by, grab pizza. Hy-Vee Food Stores, also demographically located here in the Midwest. Family-owned grocery store. I want to thank them for their involvement. Ryan Associates has helped us out in the recent past. And so Ryan Associates threw out some gift cards. And I tell you what, here's what we're doing with these gift cards, because I don't think this has ever been done, but there's certainly some appreciation. Now, we can't get you all. We can't catch you all. But if one of our Variom racers comes off the racetrack and says, hey, man, I was in a really bad spot out there, and, man, some guy, some kid, some girl, whatever, in the woods really helped me out. You know, I've told our racers to say, hey, come to the Variom pit after the race. I got a gift card for you. I got some Casey's gift cards for you. I'm not, like I said, I can't catch anybody, but, you know, Ryan Associates wanted to do something a little different. Variom is a little different. So, hey, you're a mud flea out there and you help us out. You never know. You might wind up with a $25 gift card. So, Matt, who's helping you?
Oh, man, I got a ton of them.
Oh, man.
My family and girlfriend, they've been a huge help along the way from years past and this year. Can't thank them enough for everything they do, supporting me. And you guys at Variom, Tri-State Trucking, let's see. Going down the list.
You had a long weekend.
I know. I wish I actually had a list in front of me.
All right.
Gorilla, GLANN Innovations, IMS, BP, Precision, RJR, Sunstar Sprockets, Quad Tech, GBC Tires, Shockworx with Bart Thomas. He's been huge help in me, getting me just the best setup I can get and keep trying new things and making the quad better. Can't thank him enough. Pivot Works, Goldspeed, they've been a help coming on board this year. And the XP quad racers with Mitch and West Bank. They helped me out in getting some things set up this year and possibly for next year. I guess anybody else I'm forgetting, but just in any of the fans too that have came up to me at the GNCCs and helped me out. Jared McClure and Randy Hamilton helped me out this past weekend with some jetting stuff, so I thank them. Fellow racers. I think that's about it.
What's the next stop, Matt?
The next stop for me locally will be running the Iowa in St. Charles here in 2 weeks. I got the weekend off, which is much needed. Going to try and get some workouts in and get some work done on the four-wheeler. And then the next GNCC is not until September, so I've got a few months off of that and a couple of Iowa races, an OMA, and possibly a Heartland Challenge in between there.
You and I will certainly be getting together to have a good time over this break, which is much needed. I always love getting together with Variom guys. There's always so much to talk about. I don't think there's ever a dull moment with that being said. And girls, by the way. Let's not forget about Mackenzie Lee from Runner, her junior dragster, and the zombie hunter, Miranda Kozad, who will actually be headed out for more monster truck training here probably in July, I think. So, again, thanks for taking the time, Matt. Keep doing your thing, and we will be in touch.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
Thanks, Matt. Bye-bye.